whitewashed, then so could the story of who God favored. If Jesus looked like Caesar, then Caesar could claim divine right, and suddenly being chosen looked like being European. But there's more. During the height of colonial expansion, religious justification became key. How could a Christian empire enslave millions of black bodies, unless it first made them seem spiritually inferior? Enter the new imagery. Missionaries brought with them not just the Bible, but pictures. And in these pictures, Jesus was blonde, Moses was white, the prophets wore European robes. What the sword could not conquer, the image subdued. Let's talk about Moses for a moment. In the Bible, Moses was raised in Pharaoh's household among Egyptians. When he fled into Midian, the locals mistook him for an Egyptian. So let's ask the obvious, what did Egyptians look like? Look at ancient Egyptian art. Dark skin, coiled hair, broad noses, features you'd now call African. If Moses passed as Egyptian, then he likely looked the same. Yet how many films still cast him as a white man? Charlton Heston, Christian Bale, Liam Neeson. Why? Because to depict Moses as black is to dismantle centuries of constructed supremacy. Now let's return to Jesus. The Bible doesn't give us a full description, but Revelation 1:14-15 says this: "His hair was like wool white as snow, and his feet were like bronze burned in a furnace. Hair like wool, skin like burnt bronze." That's not Scandinavian. And yet in every church painting across Europe, Jesus appears as the opposite light, smooth, golden-haired. So ask yourself, why the contradiction? Because image is power, and whiteness had to be made holy. Here comes the twist. The first statue of Jesus ever carved in Europe, dating back to the 3rd century AD, was not white. Archaeologists recovered the figure from early Christian graves in southern Italy. It showed a man with afro-textured hair, short and tightly curled, and a broad face wrapped in a robe. The features were unmistakably Afro-Asiatic. It wasn't until the High Middle Ages, 1,000 years later, that the blonde, blue-eyed Jesus became the norm. So the next time you see that image hanging in a cathedral or Sunday school classroom, remember this: it's not sacred, it's propaganda. This was not simply about changing appearances, it was about rewriting identity. If you could paint God white, then you could erase the blackness of those made in his image. You could strip the Israelites of their African roots, disconnect their story from the soil of Cush, and replant them in European soil. But in doing so, the world forgot. It forgot the sounds of Hebrew songs echoing in African deserts. It forgot the wisdom of Ethiopia, the prophecy of Nubia, the bloodlines of Sheba. And instead it inherited a counterfeit gospel, one that uplifts empire but buries the original people of the covenant. So what do we do with this? We remember. We unerase what was whitewashed. We follow the traces left behind in art, in scripture, in language, and yes, in the vaults of Iran. Because if the image of God was twisted to control people,